I straighten my father's watch one last time. The ballroom at the Grand Harlow Hotel holds 500 people and not one empty seat. Chandeliers, the size of small cars, hang above us, throwing gold light across white tablecloths, across silk dresses, across faces I barely know. The Voss family filled the right side. My people, my mother, Owen, a few old friends, sit on the left like a modest footnote to a very expensive sentence. I am not nervous. That surprises me. Even now, standing here at the altar, I grew up watching my mother count grocery money. On the kitchen table, do not own a car worth more than $4,000. Grant Voss shook my hand at the engagement dinner with the grip of a man tolerating a stray dog that wandered into his yard. I know exactly what this family thinks of me. I decided 3 months ago that it did not matter. Diana is walking toward me now. The dress is ivory, the train is long. She is genuinely beautiful, and I feel something warm move through my chest. When she meets my eyes across the room, I think this is it. This is the moment. Everything difficult becomes worth it. She reaches me. She is smiling. She reaches into the small satin. Pouch her maid of honor hands her the one that is supposed to hold the ring, and she places something in my open palm. I look down. A single dollar bill. Folded once, she leans toward the microphone the officiant holds between us, and her voice comes out clear and bright. Ow. The way you speak when you have rehearsed something and you are proud of the rehearsal. That, she says, is what I think your promises are worth. The first 3 rows on her side hear it perfectly. I watch the sound travel, the small O shapes people make with their mouths, the hand that goes to a pearl necklace, the elbow nudged into a neighbor's ribs. Then the laughter starts, low and scattered. From the Voss cousins near the aisle, 500 people, and the room shrinks to the size of a fist. Hear my mother before I see her, the scrape of a chair. I find Sylvia Merritt rising from her seat. In the 4th row, on the left, her back straight, her face doing something I have only seen once before, at my father's funeral. When the lawyer told her the accounts were empty, I look at her and I give her one small shake of my head. Not here. Mom, sit down, please. She holds my eyes for 2 full seconds. Then she sits. I close my fingers around the dollar bill. I do not cry. I want to be clear about that. Not because I am strong, but because something in me goes very quiet in that moment. The way a house goes quiet when the power cuts out. No drama, no heat. Just silence where something used to run. Diana is still smiling. I reach into the inside pocket of my jacket. The prenuptial agreement her lawyer delivered to my apartment at 7 this morning is folded into a cream-colored packet. 12 pages. The cover sheet that says Merritt VOSS for signature. She sent it this morning because she believed I would not have time to read it. She was wrong. I had my lawyer read it 3 weeks ago when I noticed the clause buried. On page 9, my lawyer reviewed the final version last night. I signed it at 10 p.m. with 2 witnesses present. I set the packet on the altar table. I unpeel my boutania from my lapel, a white gardenia, Diana's choice, and I lay it on top of the document flat, like a period at the end of a sentence. Then I turn and I walk toward the exit doors. Owen is beside me before I take my 3rd step. He does not say anything. He does not ask if I am sure. He just walks, and that is the most a best friend can do with 500 people watching. Diana's voice comes from behind me. Caleb. Then louder. Caleb. I do not turn around. I push through the ballroom doors and into the corridor, and the noise behind me becomes a wall I walk away from. The carpet in the hallway is burgundy. A hotel employee with a tray of champagne flutes freezes against the wall as Owen and I pass. I notice his expression, pure bewilderment, and for one strange second, I almost feel sorry for him almost. The lobby doors are glass. I can see the street beyond them, ordinary and gray, and completely unaware that anything has happened. I push through. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I stop on the front step and look at the screen. Unknown number. One message. Your father's account. Check it before you do anything else. CHP.2 Owen is still talking when look down at my phone again. We are in his car on level 2 of the Grand Harlow parking garage. Engine running, going nowhere. Owen's hands are on the wheel even though he has not moved the car in 10 minutes. He is listing things, lawyers, statements, what to tell people at work, and his voice has the tight, controlled energy of someone who is very angry and managing it carefully for my benefit. I appreciate it. I am not listening. The message on my screen has 11 words. Your father's account. Check it before you do anything else. I have read it 6 times. I have not opened the link below it. Something tells me that once I open it, the version of today I am still processing will become the smaller problem. I put the phone face down on my thigh. 6 months. That is how long I have been assembling the wrong picture from the right pieces, Grant. Voss and his smiles that never reached his eyes. I told myself that was a father being protective. The prenup revision Diana's lawyer sent 3 days before the wedding, calling it routine. I told myself that was standard legal housekeeping. Even when my own lawyer raised an eyebrow at page 9, the one dinner where I mentioned my father's name in connection with an old hotel deal, and Diana went still for just a half second. Her fork pausing over her plate, I told myself she was simply distracted. I am very good at telling myself things. I need to go back in, I say. Owen stops mid-sentence. In where? My mother is still in there. He looks at me like I have suggested something dangerous. Maybe I have. The ballroom has thinned. Maybe 200 guests remain, clustered in small groups, speaking in the low, careful tones people use after something goes wrong in public. The wedding cake is still on its table, untouched, 5 tiers of white fondant with no purpose now. I see Sylvia before I see Diana. My mother is by the far door, coat already buttoned, purse held in both hands, expression arranged into something flat and unreadable. She's been wearing that expression since my father died. It means she is holding something in that would cost too much to let out here. I cross the room toward her. Diana intercepts me first. She appears from my left, composed now. The earlier performance packed away, tears assembled carefully at the corners of her eyes. Guests nearby drift slightly closer without appearing to. She reaches for my hand, and her voice drops to the register people use when they want to sound private in a public place. Caleb, I love you, and I panicked, and I know how that looked. But you have to let me explain. I was terrified, and I handled it wrong, and this is not what I wanted. None of this is what I wanted, please. Her fingers graze my wrist. I look at her hand, then at her face. You rehearsed that well? I say it quietly. No heat, no edge, just the observation, offered plainly. The 2 guests closest to us stop pretending they are not listening. Diana's hand goes still in the air between us. The reaching stops. I step around her and walk to my mother. I take Sylvia's arm. She does not say anything. We walk out. Owen's apartment is 20 minutes from the hotel. Sit on his couch, and Sylvia sits beside me, and Owen puts 3 glasses of water on the coffee table that none of us touch. That is, when I feel it, a weight in my jacket's inner pocket that should not be there. I reach in and pull out a phone in a rose gold case. Diana's. She must have slipped it into my pocket during the moment in the ballroom, when she grabbed my arm, and I took the call from Owen, confirming the car. A mistake, probably, or habit. She was always borrowing my pockets. The screen is unlocked. The voice memo app is open and running. A recording in progress. I stop it. I look at the file length beneath it. It's 4 minutes, 22 seconds. Recorded today, time-stamped 2 hours before the ceremony. I press play. Diana's voice comes through the small speaker, relaxed in a way I've never heard her sound around me. It has to be public, Petra. That's the whole point. If he walks out, visibly, if he's the one who leaves, then the clause triggers and the trust claim dies. His signature on the prenup only activates his rights if the marriage completes or if we void it from our side. If he breaks it publicly, gone. The fund disappears back into the Voss pool and nobody can touch it. A pause. Shifting. He won't fight it. Doesn't even know the fund exists. I sit with that for a long moment. My father's name is connected to a Voss family trust fund that apparently transferred something to me, or was supposed to. A fund Diana's entire family has known about, and I've never heard mentioned once. The recording continues for another 90 seconds. Logistics. Timing, the specific wording Diana planned to use at the altar, all of it rehearsed. Decided before she put on the dress this morning. The memo ends. I lower the phone. Then the second recording begins to play automatically, a separate file directly below it. It's unlabeled, 38 seconds long. Petra's voice this time, lower. Less certain. What if he already knows about the fund, Diana? What if he's been playing you? Owen's hand is on my shoulder before I open my eyes. I am on his couch. Still in yesterday's dress shirt, and the way he is looking at me, tight jaw, already extended, tells me the night got worse while I was sleeping. It's everywhere. He says I take the phone 3 posts. 3 different accounts with clean profile pictures and follower counts in the MHT thousands, the kind of numbers you buy in bulk. The stories are identical in structure, different only in wording. It's posted 11 minutes apart, coordinated. Someone pressed 3 buttons in sequence and walked away. The headline on the first one reads, "Wedding Meltdown, Jealous Nobody Attacks. Bride, after she rejects his power grab." I read it fully. Then the second. Then the third. The story they tell is this. I had been pressuring Diana for months to add my name to the Voss Hotel Group's ownership structure. When she refused, I engineered a public scene at our own wedding to humiliate her in retaliation. The dollar, in their version, was Diana's desperate attempt to offer me something, anything, to calm me down. The photo they use is taken from behind, slightly blurred, showing a man in a dark suit placing papers on a surface. Cropped tight, no altar visible, no context. It looks exactly like what they want it to look like. There is a word they use 3 times across the 3 posts, manipulative. I hand Owen his phone back. I know a guy who can trace the IP source in about 4 hours, Owen says. Don't. His voice has the controlled quiet of someone who wants very much to shout. These accounts are linked. I can feel it. Same posting pattern, same sentence rhythm. This came from a PR operation, not 3 random people. Wait, I say. Caleb, wait. I have one thing to do first. The Radnor Financial Group offices are on the 14th floor of a building that smells like carpet cleaner and recycled air. I have worked here for 3 years. I know which elevator is slowest, which printer jams on Tuesdays, which colleague keeps a spare coffee in the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet by the window. I walk in at 8:40-7, my supervisor. Dean meets me 6 steps from the door. He does not make eye contact. He looks at a point somewhere near my left ear and tells me, in the careful language of someone who has already spoken to HR, that 2 anonymous complaints were filed yesterday regarding my conduct outside the workplace, and that pending review, it might be better if I understand, I say. He blinks. He was prepared for pushback. The room behind him, 4 desks, 4 colleagues pretending to look at screens, goes very still. I walk to my desk and I open my laptop. I do not read emails. I do not check messages. I open the file management system and I begin copying. Every financial model I built, every analysis, every projection, every client brief I authored in 3 years, I move it all to an encrypted drive I plug in from my jacket pocket. The drive I bought 2 weeks ago after page 9 of the prenup made me start thinking carefully about what I might need to carry out of a room quickly. It takes 19 minutes. My colleagues watch. None of them speak. I close the laptop. Open a blank document on my phone, type a 4-paragraph resignation letter and send it to Dean's email. I stand, pick up the drive, and walk toward the elevator. I do not say goodbye. Goodbyes invite questions, and I am not in the business of explaining myself today. The lobby is marble and glass and morning foot traffic. I am halfway to the exit when someone steps into my path. Nora Holt, mid-30s, press badge visible under her jacket lapel, notepad already in hand. She was 3 rows back on the Voss side at the wedding. I registered her face without knowing her name until Owen, told me afterward, "That's Nora Holt. She covers society and business for the Tribune." She looks at me. The way journalists look at things they are trying to decide are stories. "I was there yesterday," she says. "I've seen the posts this morning. I've been in this business long enough to know when 3 accounts post the same story 11 minutes apart." She pauses. "Is any of it true?" I look at her. "Ask me again in 60 days. She holds my gaze for a moment. Then she uncaps her pen and writes something. In her notepad, I do not wait to see what. I sit in my car in the parking structure below the building. The encrypted drive in my hand. I open the message from the unknown number. The link loads slowly. A private banking portal. Old interface. The kind built in the early 2000s and never redesigned. A name appears at the top of the account page. Edmund Merritt. My father's name. The account is dormant. 0 balance. But there is one document attached. A scanned file, aged paper, signatures at the bottom. I enlarge it. Trust deed. Merritt Voss, joint equity instrument, co-signed. My father's signature on the left. On the right, a name I do not recognize. Marcus Vane. I read the deed twice. Legal language is dense, but one clause stops me completely. The trust. A 12% equity stake in what was then a growing hotel portfolio. Transfers to the named heir upon execution of a legal instrument bearing both a Merritt and a Voss signature. Signed the prenup last night. The prenup. Diana gave me the prenup with both our names. The prenup her family designed to strip my rights, the same document activated them. My phone rings at midnight, Sylvia. I answer before the second ring. Her voice is not the voice she uses when she is sad. I know that voice. I grew up next to it. This is different. This is the voice she used the night my father came home and told her something changed everything. Marcus Vane called me. He says your father didn't just consign that trust. He says your father built it. Marcus Vane's office has no nameplate on the door. That is the first thing I notice when I arrive. A plain door on the 3rd floor of a quiet building 2 blocks from the financial district. Nothing on it but a room number. It's a kind of office that belongs to someone who does not need to advertise. I knock once and walk in. Marcus is already seated. Older, late 60s, maybe 70, with white hair kept short and hands folded on the desk like a man who has learned that stillness is its own kind of authority. A woman sits near the window with a legal pad and a pen. He introduces her, only as Iris. She nods once and does not speak again for the entire meeting. Marcus looks at me the way people look at photographs they have been keeping in a drawer for a long time. You have your father's posture, he says. Edmund always stood, like the room owed him nothing. I sit down. I do not respond to that. Tell me what I need to know, I say. He tells me. 30 years ago, my father, Edmund Merritt, identified a small, struggling hotel portfolio owned by a younger Grant Voss. Grant had vision, but no capital. Edmund had both. He negotiated a private equity position, 12% of the total portfolio, and provided the seed funding that allowed Grant to purchase 3 properties in 18 months. The Voss Hotel Group exists, in its current form, because Edmund Merritt believed in it before anyone else did. Then Grant decided he no longer wanted a partner. He commissioned a fraudulent internal audit, Marcus says, his voice carrying no particular anger, just the flat delivery of someone recounting documented fact. It painted Edmund as having mismanaged the joint funds. Edmund could have fought it publicly, but a legal war would have destroyed both families and both reputations. He chose differently, locked his equity stake inside a trust instrument. Instead, invisible, dormant, waiting. Waiting for what? I ask. For a Merritt to sign a legal document alongside a Voss, Edmund's condition. He believed that one day the families would intersect again. It built the trigger to be natural, not a lawsuit, not a confrontation, just a signature. Marcus pauses. Prenuptial agreement you signed 4 days ago qualifies.
Ow.
The room is very quiet. I think about Diana sliding that document under my apartment door at 7 in the morning. I think about her lawyer calling it routine. I think about Grant Voss shaking my hand at dinner with that tolerating smile. They knew exactly what the prenup could do. They wrote a clause to neutralize it. Their own lawyer sent the wrong version. The weapon they built to bury me activated. My inheritance instead. I want the complete documentation, I say. Marcus opens a desk drawer and places a folder in front of me. Thick, organized. 30 years of careful record keeping by a man who knew someday someone would need every page of it. I pick it up. I stand. Thank him. Iris does not look up from her legal pad. I am in my car outside the building when Owen's message arrives. An audio file. 44 seconds. No caption. I press play. It is a board meeting recording. Clean audio, multiple voices, the ambient sound of a conference call. I hear Owen's voice briefly near the start. He was present as a tech investor, I realize, which is how he obtained this. Then I hear Grant Voss, warm and professional, describing me to the assembled board as a young man of genuine character. And despite the unfortunate events at the weekend, someone the industry should treat fairly. 3 seconds of silence. Then, the audio continues. My name has dropped from the call, and Grant's voice changes the way weather changes when a front moves through. He's finished. We'll go quiet, take whatever small settlement we offer to make the prenup issue disappear and vanish. Just like his father did. Edmund Merritt spent 30 years being invisible, and his son will do the same. Laughter. 3 distinct voices, relaxed and certain. The recording ends. I set my phone on the passenger seat. I sit with it, the folder on my lap. My father's name on the top page. Grant's laughter, still occupying the air inside the car. I have to opti. The rental apartment has one window and a desk that wobbles on the left side. I have shimmed the wobble with a folded piece of cardboard and work at it 12 hours a day. The encrypted drive from Radnor is plugged in permanently. Owen's startup. Funding round is spread across 4 open documents: projections, risk analysis, capital structure, investor brief. The work is the clearest thing in my life right now, and I am grateful for that in the way. You are grateful for solid ground after a long time treading water. The invitation arrives on a Tuesday. Senior presentation slot at Caldwell Investment. Group's quarterly forum, 1 hour, 15 board members, the kind of room that opens doors or closes them permanently. Owen's contact passed my name along. Slot is mine if I want it. I want it. I spent 6 days preparing. The analysis is clean, and the projections are honest, and the presentation does not oversell a single number. I know it is strong work because when I walk Owen through it the night before, he stops interrupting after the 3rd slide and just listens. I do not know Grant Voss sits on the Caldwell board until I walk into the room and see him. He is at the far end of the table, 3rd seat. From the right, in a charcoal suit, he looks up when I enter. His expression does not change, not surprise, not discomfort, nothing. Just the same polished neutrality he wore at every dinner when he shook my hand and thought about what he would do with my father's money. I set up my laptop. I begin. The first half of the presentation goes well. I can read a room. Years in finance teaches you that. And for 20 minutes, the board is engaged. Questions are technical, specific, the kind that mean people are actually thinking about what you are saying rather than waiting for you to finish. Then Grant speaks. Caleb, I want to commend the depth of this analysis. It really does show a sophisticated understanding of market positioning. His voice is warm, measured, the voice of a man who has run many rooms. I do want to raise something that the board deserves to consider as context, and I raise it with respect. It has come to our attention through industry channels that during your tenure at Radnor Financial Group, 2 formal internal complaints were lodged regarding professional conduct. He opens a printed file. He passes it left and right simultaneously. I think transparency serves everyone here. 15 faces look down at the file, then up at me, then back down. I watch the room shift. It is not dramatic. It never is. It is just a series of small recalibrations. A pen set down, chair angled. Slightly away, an expression that was open 30 seconds ago now, arranging itself into careful neutrality. 15 people deciding quietly and privately that the math has changed. The junior board member at the near corner has his phone propped against his water glass. The screen faces outward. I recognize the interface he is live streaming. Finish my presentation. Every remaining slide, every sentence, every answer to every follow-up question, calm/precise, unhurried. I do not skip a single point. I do not acknowledge the file. I do not look at Grant Voss again. When I am done, I thank the board, close my laptop, and walk out. Nora Holt is in the lobby with a press lanyard around her neck. Notepad open, clearly working a different story on a different floor. She sees me cross the lobby and reads something in my face that makes her fall into step beside me without asking permission. Caught part of the stream, she says. Grant Voss just publicly discredited you in a recorded board meeting. Yes, I want to write something? I have enough for a solid piece right now, even without your side. Not yet, I say, but stay close. She looks at me for a moment. She writes something down. I push through the glass door and into the street. Diana's text arrives while I am eating dinner alone at the rental desk. 3 paragraphs. I read them once. The first 2 are explanation and justification. The careful architecture of someone, constructing distance from a decision they made with full awareness. The 3rd paragraph is shorter. I didn't know everything my father did. I just want you to know that. I set the phone face down on the desk. I think about the voice memo. Her voice, casual and certain, explaining the plan to Petra 2 hours before. The ceremony, the specific legal terminology she used. The confidence. The phone stays face dash down. Owen calls after midnight. And his voice has the same tight energy as the morning he woke me with my name already trending. The clip has 40,000 views, he says. But Caleb, someone posted a screenshot in the comments. It's the prenup. The original version, the one with the dissolving clause that Diana's team was supposed to give you. Someone inside. The Voss legal team is leaking documents. CHP.60, his message arrives at 7 in the morning, with 3 words before the screenshot. It was Petra. I sit up on the rental couch and read it fully. Petra Cross sent Owen a direct message the night before, careful, frightened, the kind of message someone types and deletes twice before finally sending. She had been at the Voss estate for dinner when Diana and Grant's argument spilled out of the study into the hallway. She heard enough. Grant is filing a civil defamation suit against me using financial records that have been constructed. Her word. Constructed to show I defrauded Radnor Financial Group during my 3 years there. Petra wrote one line at the bottom of her message that I read 3 times. He doesn't want to win the case. He wants to bury Caleb in it until the window closes. I know what window she means. The trust claim has a legal filing deadline. A long enough court battle, expensive, exhausting, consuming every resource I have, and the statute of limitations runs out quietly while I am occupied fighting the wrong war. Clean, efficient. The same logic Grant used against my father, updated for a new decade. I call Marcus. He picks up before the second ring and tells me he already knows. He tells me to meet Petra first, before I do anything else. The coffee shop is small and off a side street, Petra's choice, which tells me she understands she is taking a risk. She is already seated when I arrive, both hands wrapped around a cup she is not drinking from. She looks like someone who has not slept. I sit across from her. I do not open with reassurance. People who are frightened do not need reassurance. They need to feel that the person across from them is not going to panic. Tell me only what you personally heard and saw, I say. Nothing else, she tells me, Grant's voice through the study. Door, specific, and methodical. The name of the accountant handling the fabricated records. The law firm filing the suit, the timeline. Diana's voice underneath it, less certain. Asking questions, Grant answered with the patience of someone who has stopped needing her agreement. I listen without interrupting. When she finishes, I thank her. What do you need me to do? She asks. Nothing. I say go home. She looks at me like that is not the answer she expected. I stand and leave. Grant's press moment outside the courthouse steps is brief and well staged. He stands in a gray overcoat with 2 lawyers flanking him and speaks in the measured tone of a concerned father who has exhausted his patience. He describes me as a troubled young man whose behavior at his daughter's wedding was only the beginning of a pattern of harassment and professional dishonesty. He uses the word unfortunate 4 times. He thanks the press for their time. Nora is in the crowd with her phone raised. She records every word. I watch it later on her shared link in my car outside Marcus's office. I watch Grant's face, composed, sympathetic, completely confident. He has done this before. The specific rhythm of his sentences, the precise positioning of his regret, this is not improvised. This is a man who has destroyed someone's credibility once already and knows exactly which order to press the buttons. He destroyed my father the same way. Different decade, same hands. The first hearing is held in a courtroom that smells like old wood and central heating. I sit beside Marcus's lawyer, sharp, quiet, the kind of woman who makes opposing counsel nervous by doing nothing visibly threatening. Grant is across the room with his team, and when I walk in, he glances at me once with the particular expression of someone watching a problem resolve itself. The opening statements take 40 minutes. I sit without moving. My expression gives nothing. Then Marcus's lawyer stands and requests permission to file a counter motion. Judge Raymond Alcott, gray-haired, deliberate. With reading glasses, he removes and replaces constantly. Grants it. She places the document on the clerk's desk. I watch Grant's lead counsel receive the counter motion copy. I watch him read the first page. I watch him lean toward Grant and say something in a voice too low to carry across the room. Grant. Voss goes still, not the controlled stillness of Marcus, not a choice. The stillness of a man whose body has received information his face has not yet processed. He sits completely motionless for 4 full seconds. That is when Marcus's lawyer hands me a folded note. I open it. 2 words. Twist confirmed. I had asked Marcus the night before to verify the name of the accountant. Petra overheard Grant mention the one fabricating the Radnor records. Marcus's team found him. He worked at Radnor under a different name during my tenure. It years. He go under his original name. He processed the fraudulent audit that destroyed my father. The same accountant. 2 families. 2 generations. 1 pattern. Judge Alcott removes his glasses and reads the counter motion in full silence. The courtroom waits. He replaces his glasses. He looks at both counsel tables over the rims. Counsel, this document predates the plaintiff's entire claim, I suggest. Both parties come prepared. Nora's story goes live at 6:53 in the morning. I am already awake at the Penthouse desk when my phone lights up with her message. 1 word. I open the link and read the entire piece without stopping. 11 pages. 14 months of documented evidence assembled into the clearest, most methodical piece of financial journalism I have read in years.
Oh.
Nora did not write a drama. She wrote a record. The Penthouse is Marcus's firm's operating space, clean lines. Floor-to-ceiling windows, a city view that means nothing to me except distance from everything that happened. I have been here 3 months. I've not posted anything. I have not called a single journalist. I have not told anyone except Owen and Marcus and Sylvia where I am living. The work has been quiet and the purpose has been sharp, and I have spent 90 days doing exactly what I told Marcus I would do. Watching the story's structure is surgical. It opens with the social media smear, the 3 coordinated accounts, the IP block, the 11-minute posting interval. It moves to the boardroom ambush at Caldwell, including 17 seconds of the livestream clip. It documents the defamation suit and the fabricated Radnor complaints, with the accountant's 2 names listed side by side in the same paragraph. Then it goes back 30 years. Edmund Merritt's name, the original equity position, the fraudulent audit, the trust deed reproduced in full. The prenup, both versions, the dissolving clause highlighted in the one Diana was supposed to give me. Absent from the one I actually signed. The voice memo transcript runs as a sidebar. Gray box, smaller font, Diana's words exactly as she spoke them with a smep. The board meeting audio is transcribed below it. Grant's warmth while I was on the call, his certainty after I dropped off. Disappear quietly like his father did. I read that line on the page and something in my chest settles. Not with satisfaction exactly. but with the specific relief of a weight that has been correctly named at last. The photograph Nora chose for the centerpiece is the one she took standing in the doorway of this office 3 weeks ago. I am not in it. It shows only the desk, the window, and on the wall to the left, mounted in a plain black frame, small, slightly off-center, a single folded dollar bill. The caption reads, "The moment that started everything. I am on a call." With Marcus, when Owen arrives, he lets himself in with the key I gave him and sets his laptop on the coffee table and points at the screen without speaking. Caldwell Investment Group's official statement, posted at 11:47, Grant Voss's. Board seat suspended pending internal review. Owen underlines the word pending with his finger and gives me a look that means he knows. As I do, that pending in this context means permanent. Marcus is still talking in my ear. Tell him to hold. 2 Voss Hotel Group partners have filed a joint request for an emergency shareholder meeting. The request cites material misrepresentation of the group's foundational capital structure. 14 words that mean, we did not know whose money built this, and now we do. I put Marcus back on and tell him what I am reading. He already knows. Iris found it 40 minutes ago. Diana calls at 12:18. I watch her name on the screen until it stops. She calls again at 12:51. At 1:30, at 2:04, I do not answer any of them. Not because I am punishing her, because there is nothing she can say that changes what the documents say, and the documents are now public, and the public is reading them in some conversations. Simply arrived too late to matter. The shareholder meeting happens fast, 3 hours after the request, which tells me the partners were already assembled and waiting for a reason. The outcome reaches Marcus by 5 p.m. The Merit Trust stake, my 12%. 30 years locked and waiting equals a controlling interest in 3 of the Voss flagship properties. The expansion capital that built the Voss Hotel Group into what it became was never fully Grant's to use. The wealth that paid for Diana's wardrobe and Grant's board seats and the Grand Harlow ballroom on my wedding day was built. Immeasurable and documented part. On my father's stolen equity, the room that saw me humiliated was paid for with my father's money. I sit with that. For a long time, Marcus calls at 7. His voice carries the careful evenness of someone delivering news. They want to present without color. Grant Voss's lawyer has contacted him requesting a private settlement meeting, and the Voss family's public statement is scheduled for tomorrow morning, the first time Grant will speak publicly since the article dropped. Grant Voss's public statement runs for paragraphs and says almost nothing. I read it on my phone at the Penthouse desk while my coffee goes cold beside me. He uses the phrase historical accounting dispute twice. He expresses regret for any misunderstanding that caused distress to those involved, thanks his partners for their patience, and says his family remains committed to the group's future. There is no mention of Edmund Merritt by name. There is no mention of a trust deed, a prenup, a dollar bill, or a wedding. His Caldwell board seat is formally suspended in a separate statement, released 11 minutes later. Owen forwards me a text from Petra, short, no punctuation. Diana's social is gone. She hasn't left the estate in 4 days. I put the phone down and look at the framed dollar on the wall. I do not feel what I expected to feel, which was something large and loud. What I feel instead is the particular quiet of a room after a long noise finally stops. The settlement documents arrive through Marcus that afternoon, walks me through every clause on a call while Iris pulls the corresponding pages. Full restoration of the equity stake. A structured buyout of 2 of the 3 Voss flagship properties. Clean liquidity. No prolonged operational tie to a family I have no interest in being bound to. The 3rd property stays under the trust's name, managed independently the way my father originally intended. It is more than substantial. It is everything my father lost, returned with interest, and a document trail that makes the original theft permanently part of the public record. Marcus reads me the final clause. I tell him to send it over. I sign it on a Tuesday afternoon at the Penthouse desk. I use the same pen I used to sign the prenup. I kept it specifically for this. A small, private irony that belongs only to me. I do not make a ceremony of it. I sign where the tabs indicate, initial the corners, and set the pen down. I sit for a moment with my hands flat on the desk, then I close the folder. The security desk calls up at 8:17, a woman at the front gate. No appointment. Standing there 20 minutes, not causing any disturbance, just standing. I already know before he says the name. I ride the elevator down to the lobby. I do not go outside. I stop at the interior glass, the lobby wall that faces the covered entrance, and the gate beyond it. Diana is standing on the other side of the gate in a coat I recognize, arms at her sides, no phone in her hand. She looks smaller than I remember. That is not a cruel observation, it is just accurate. Something has gone out of her posture that used to be there. She sees me through the glass. Her face does something I do not have a word for. Not quite grief, not quite shame. Somewhere in the territory between them where people go when they have run out of ways to manage what they have done. She mouths something. I cannot hear it through the glass. I push open the side door and step into the small covered walkway beside the gate. The night air is cold. I stop 2 feet from the gate, close enough to hear her. Far enough that nothing about where I am standing suggests she is being invited anywhere. She speaks first. Her voice breaks on the first word and she steadies it. With visible effort, I didn't know the full plan. I knew some of it, and I told myself it wasn't as bad as it was, and I let him use me. And I let him use the wedding, and I am sorry, Caleb. I am genuinely sorry. 3 sentences. The most honest thing she has ever said to me. I look down at my father's watch. I believe you didn't know everything, I say. That doesn't change what you chose to do with what you knew. The gate stays closed between us. Diana does not speak again. The security door clicks shut behind me as I walk back inside. I call Sylvia. From the elevator, she answers on the first ring, which means she has been waiting. She always answers fast when she is waiting. It's done, Mom, I say. She is quiet, not the heavy quiet of the months after my father left. A different kind. The kind that has some air in it. We're the watch tomorrow, she says. Your father would have liked that. Nora finds me in the lobby before I reach my office. She is standing near the entrance of the Merit Equity Group with her notepad already in hand. She looks at the name on the door, clean black letters on frosted glass, the way people look at things that turned out exactly as they suspected they would. 60 days, she says. 60 days, I say. I hold the door open, and she walks in. The office is small, and deliberately so. 2 rooms, good light, nothing on the walls yet except the frame. Owen is visible through the interior window, talking to 2 people I hired last week, hands moving the way they do when he is explaining something he finds genuinely exciting. I watch him for a second, and something in my chest loosens slightly. It's the way it does when you realize the people you care about have also landed somewhere solid. Nora looks around and asks, "What comes next?" I tell her the firm focuses on recovering undervalued assets in deals where one party was forced out through fraud or misrepresentation. I say it plainly, no particular emphasis. She nods slowly, and I can see she understands exactly what it means without needing me to explain the personal history behind it. She flips to a clean page. Then she pauses and looks up. "Off the record," she says. "Do you regret any of it?" I look at the framed dollar on the wall. Think about the watch on my wrist and my mother's voice on the phone saying your father would have liked that. I think about a man who locked 30 years of patience inside a trust deed rather than fight a war that would have cost everyone too much. The dollar was the most expensive thing she ever gave me, I say. Nora looks at me for a moment. Then she smiles, small, real, and closes her notepad without writing it down. She leaves. I sit at my desk. The watch is on my wrist. The dollar's on the wall. The door is open.